Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, and the Mummy. The Universal monsters have been a staple of Halloween Horror Nights since the beginning. But should they return in 2025? Welcome back, everyone. It's Michael from Hallowed Thrills, and today we're going to talk about the Universal monsters and a brief history of their appearances at Halloween Horror Nights and whether or not I think that they should return for this year's event. Now, before we get anything though, please make sure that you are subscribed and have the bell notifications turned on to get notified whenever I post a video. And also make sure you're following both Instagram and X. The links are down in the description below. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's talk about some monsters. During last week's video, we broke down the very first full speculation map for HHN 34 from our friends over at HN Nightmares. And a big thing a lot of people were noticing from the map was that there isn't really a symbol that just screams Universal monsters. Now, the monsters have been a focal point of the event since 2019 for better part of 6 straight years if you count HHN Light back in 2020. So it begs the question, do we think the monsters are going to return this year? Now, I have scoured a bunch of different forums and a bunch of different YouTube videos and a lot of people's breakdowns regarding this speculation map, and the same thing I'm seeing over and over again, that not a lot of people are talking about the monsters for this year's event. There hasn't been really any rumors regarding them being at this year's event. There hasn't been much talks regarding this map of any of the symbols relating to monsters at this year's event. So, like I said, begs the question, do we think they are going to be at the event this year? Now, you may be like, who cares? We've seen them, we've done that. We don't need to see them anymore for at least a little bit. And to be honest, I'm completely with you on that. I think that they have overstayed their welcome. It has been, like I said, 6 years, dating all the way back to 2019 in Orlando, that we have seen the monsters in some fashion. Now, the history of the monsters, though, at the event goes back well before that, even to the very first event in 1991. So that begs the question, though, how many factors really go into the decision of the monsters possibly not coming back at this year's event? And now, a lot of people believe that this decision was made based on the new Dark Universe land at Epic Universe, but do I think that has anything to do with it? Personally, no. I think there are a lot more factors that may have been taken in to the fact that HHN might not have the Universal monsters this year. Another factor that I think may be attributing to this is burnout. Now, a lot of people experience burnout, and it looks like we are starting to experience burnout with the Universal monsters. Eventually, people will start to get sick of the same repackaged thing over and over again. I know I don't want to call them repackaged, but you are seeing the exact same monsters in different kind of storylines, and it does get a bit stale after a while, which in this instance, it has been a decent amount of time. We saw this before with The Walking Dead. We saw it before with The Purge. Do I personally think that it is time for the Universal monsters to get this same treatment where we take a break from them? Out of HHN's 33-year run, the Universal monsters have been included in some fashion 18 of those 33 years, which is insane if you really think about it. Of those years include years like 2009, where the monsters were involved in 5 different experiences across all houses and scare zones at that year's event, which is wild to me. But 6 years straight is not actually the longest streak that we've had in Horror Nights history of the monsters being included in the event. We have to go all the way back to 1995, where the monsters were going on a run that ended all the way in 2001 for 7 straight years. They had the Universal monsters at the event, and you may be thinking, okay, what happened after that? And that is the big thing. Following that stretch in 2001 where that finally ended, the next time that the Universal Monsters showed up in a full capacity at the event was not until that 2009 event. So that was 8 straight years of no Universal Monsters following a 7-year stretch of them being there at every single year. Now, we're not going to include the 2004 Horror in Wax house, as the Universal Monsters were not actually included in that house. They were just statues that were thrown in the house of the monsters themselves. So they did not have a full capacity involvement in that event. So like I said, the next time that we saw a full capacity of the monsters at the event following 2001 was that 2009 event, which, that being said, could be the same fate that we may see here in 2025. Now, if that is true and we do follow the same path of that 8-year stretch, we might not actually see another Universal Monsters house until 2032, which is insane to think about. But do I think that is likely? No, I'm sorry, I don't think it's likely. Universal Monsters are Universal's cash cow when it comes to horror, and they're an easy IP to throw into the event. So personally, I don't think it's likely that the Universal Monsters will be gone for that long. With Dark Universe now in there, I do think that is an attributing factor to this, but realistically, I think we may see a gap of maybe 3 to 5 years before the monsters make a return to the event. That is just enough time for people to be able to go to Epic Universe, experience the monsters, go to Darkmoor, see everything that there is, new rides, new meetups, new experiences, everything that there is to go have and do there. And then finally, when the time is right, return the monsters home to Halloween Horror Nights. But I will say, we may be ahead of ourselves. After all, this is only Speculation Map version 1, and it is only April. We have a long way to go until the beginning of the event in August, and we have plenty of speculation maps and rumors to go until then. And I'm sure probably by this time, maybe next month, we'll have another speculation map and there'll be another symbol on there, and people will always be talking about Halloween Horror Nights and the Universal Monsters coming to the event. It could be completely changed this time next month, but as of right now, this is a serious thing that we need to talk about and consider for this year's event. But that brings us to this. What do you guys think? Do you think that the Universal Monsters should take a step back this year? Do you think we should get a break from them from Halloween Horror Nights? Or do you think they should continue along the path and continue their streak of being at the event? And if so, when do you think it's time to stop and give them a break? I would like to know down in the comments below. But as always, I'm Michael from Hollywood Thrills, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you're out of here. See you guys next time.